So today I would like to share with you some of my thoughts on how Power Corporation creates value for its shareholders. For Power Corporation, value creation initiates what we could call a virtuous circle, which drives competitive returns on capital and share performance. Thus, positioned, we can keep our commitments, of course, to our stakeholders, or our shareholders, our employees, and the communities in which we're established. Now, how do we create this value creation? Through 4 pillars that collectively support our management framework, which are the following: an entrepreneurial culture, a long-term investment vision, an active ownership, and an ongoing effort to analyze our environment. So let me briefly touch on each of these. First, our entrepreneurial culture. As most of you will be aware, it will be now soon 20 years that my brother Andre and I have become co-CEOs of Power Corporation. We had the privilege of succeeding a man whose unparalleled entrepreneurial genius, I would call it, shaped Power Corporation for 30 years, securing in its wake an exceptional strategic position for Andre and I to build off of, and with our teams, of course. The entrepreneurial culture our father epitomized is an intrinsic part of the corporation's DNA and of our approach to value creation. Andre and I were fortunate to have had the opportunity to build on this culture and develop the professional management skills that complement entrepreneurship. Today, Power Corporation, I would call it a managerial entrepreneurial culture, a culture where entrepreneurship and professional management skills coexist, challenge and nurture each other. This hybrid culture has a broad appeal and has allowed us to attract experienced and talented professionals who embrace the 4 pillars of our management framework and who are themselves entrepreneurial. Second, long-term investment vision. Thanks to the nature of our entrepreneurship, our ownership model, that is family ownership in partnership with other shareholders, we can avoid the tyranny of what I call short-term mindset and pursue a vision of long-term creation. But there's more. Families often want to hand down what they have built and shape to the generations that follow. This purpose, which is the very essence of the concept of legacy, sustains a mindset that fosters, in fact, a long-term vision. Family ownership takes a generational view, colored by a spirit of stewardship. It's all about a stewardship that's really calls for informed, bold leadership and constant renewal. This mindset also colors our attitude to risk-taking. As owners in partnership with others, we know that we will have to live with the risks that we take. And the consequences, as we all know, can be quite harsh. But there's no escaping. Whether you win or you lose, depending on the decisions you make, you own it. That is why we manage growth of the corporation with caution and patience. We manage risk over the long run. That's the essence of our long-term vision. Third is active ownership. Active ownership defines our governance model. It's a topic, as you know, that I've discussed at past annual meetings. But active and committed ownership means that we are actively involved through their boards of directors in our group companies so that we can have direct influence on value creation. Here are the main aspects of that governance model. The boards of Power Corporation and Power Financial reflect our ownership model, that of a family partnering with other shareholders. The boards of our subsidiaries, in turn, typically include some of our directors from both Power Corporation and Power Financial officers who are independent of the management of those subsidiaries. Now, their full-time job is to be involved with the companies, to understand what they do in great detail, and to track their performance. The boards carefully select the chief executive officers of our group companies on the basis of their technical and leadership skills, as well as their ability to translate into value added the vision that the boards have for our respective companies. We are convinced that a long-term vision of investment combined with active ownership is conducive to value creation. Relevant authorities and governance ranking organizations should take into account the characteristics of this type of ownership. And finally, our fourth pillar the ongoing effort to analyze our environment. This pillar reinforces the three previous ones. It is a constant effort to understand and analyze the world in which we live, and in particular, of course, the business sectors in which the group company operates. Possession of such knowledge empowers us to effectively play an active role as an owner of our group companies. It also allows us to act in a manner consistent with our long-term vision of investment while keeping abreast of trends that shape our environment. Significantly, this effort allows us to seize business opportunities as they arise. Therefore, what might often appear, I think, to a lot as opportunism is actually a direct, logical outcome of a systematic and thorough preparation for action. We prepare and study, I would say, for a long time in order to be ready to take quick action. What does this ongoing effort involve? Well, we carefully follow major economic trends as they develop. We closely monitor the activities of our competitors. We are connected to numerous Canadian and international business networks. And we also have numerous discussions with them, of course, our power teams and our boards of directors. To recap, we've implemented this management framework in Power Corporation, which has consistently and hopefully will continue to create consistent value. That framework is characterized, as I've said, by an entrepreneurial culture, long-term investment vision, active ownership, and thorough ongoing study of our environment, particularly in the areas where we're involved. We are confident this model will foster and support our objectives of return on capital for the future and benefit, ultimately, all of our stakeholders.